You kept me when nobody else would. Oh, yeah. So I love you, Lord. And forever I will sing it. Forever I will sing. Holy, holy, yeah. Are you Lord God Almighty? Worthy is the Lamb.
Good evening. We are so glad that you are here tonight. This is going to be an opportunity for us to spend some time answering questions and just coming together as a church in the vision that was shared this morning. As we begin tonight, there's not mics out in the audience, but I'm going to ask a couple questions, and you can just holler them out. This morning's service was a blessing because... We understood that one. Okay, the baptism in person, getting the vision of the church, education. And the bottom line is, you left this morning understanding, or you watched online understanding that everybody is a part of it. And it's going to take all of us working together, doing things together that we've never done before, and praying that God blesses our efforts, which He will do. Isn't that exciting? Say yes. I'm excited about the next 3-year vision because you get to be a part of it. Thinking outside of the box, reaching lost souls, watching God work. So the bottom line is, this is absolutely the best time to be a part of New Life. Yes or yes? And you and I play an important part in the future as we work together, grow together, step out on faith, and do some things that maybe we, with the intensity and the vision and the purpose. So we are glad that you are here tonight for us to spend a few minutes together answering questions and fellowshipping and doing what needs to be done. We have a distinguished panel on the stage. And the reason I said extinguished is because Tim has been here since what time this morning? 7 this morning. David has been here since 6 this morning. Buck has been here since... Buck. Tony has been here.
I went home and took a nap.
And he went home and took a nap. Sorry about that. Aaron has been here since 9. 8:30. Kelly came at 8:30 and left. Joey didn't come. He was here, okay. But the bottom line is, our staff has done an amazing job and put in many, many hours. Thank them for doing that. All right. We'll start here with Kelly, who's an elder. Joe is an elder. And the other elders that are here tonight, will you please stand? Dave Ross is right here. Rich Doherty is right back there. Any other elders? All right, these two gentlemen are representing the elders, so they're going to tell you in a short sentence what they do.
Yeah, he told us we only got a minute, so I will go for one side of the eldership, and then Joey's going to hit on the other one. But basically, we're here to, number one, support the staff, help make decisions that the staff has to make to keep the church running, personnel type questions and stuff like that. But we're also here to help shepherd the people. So if there's people that need prayer, that are hurting, need visitation, whatever, we're here to do that part of it as well. So we rely on the church body to help us know and understand who those people are. So to me, that's a big part, especially through this time we're going through right now, is whatever we can do to help shepherd the church, we will do.
Yeah, my name's Joe Vignovich. Wow, that was loud. Another thing that we do is we review the budgeting and make sure that the budget and the finances that you all give support the vision of the church. Then we also support the major purchases of the church that go on. One thing that I also wrote down was just sometimes I get this question, well, how many elders are there? And there's 9 elders, and then there's 3 honorary elders. And if I could just read their names real quick, it'd be Dick Brady, Dick Gosling, Dave Havoc, Dave Ross, Dave Lyons. There's a lot of D words. Steve Siemens, Ty DeWong, Kelly, and then myself, and then Rich Doherty, Max Vanderloon, and Myron Shervine.
Okay? Men that love the Lord, love this church, and will do whatever we need to do to help lead along with you as well. Tony, tell us what you do.
Yeah, I'm Tony Wilshire. I'm the student director here, and we have a little bit of an analogy that we're kind of working with as far as the staff, just trying to help people understand what we do. I am kind of like, if you imagine a football team, I'm like the water boy. But think Adam Sandler kind of water boy, that kind of intensity. Basically, I just bring the juice. I bring the juice at New Life. I don't know why I just said that, but so part of my role here with student ministries isn't just to hang out with students and to pastor students. I'm a pastor on staff here, so I'm a pastor to you as well. But specifically, I try to come alongside teenagers, their families, and especially our fantastic volunteer leadership team, really pouring into them, equipping them, providing spaces for them to lead students. And really part of my heart is not to be just a discipler to your kids, but to be a partner, to be an arm with you, to be kind of another voice, an echo toward how you're discipling your kids at home. So all of that kind of packaged into a lot of fun, a lot of intensity, and a lot of passion.
Aaron.
I'm Erin Nebraska, and my official title is Office Administrator, and trying to go off of that football analogy, I would consider myself like the team manager. So I'm kind of the behind-the-scenes support. I help to prepare and organize and maintain the resources that we have to use as the team being New Life Church, not just the staff, but you guys as well. And so I'm really a support, I'm a connector, I'm a liaison, I do a lot of different things. If it doesn't fit in somebody else's bucket, it falls into mine. So if you're ever not sure where to start, you can always start with me, and I probably will be me that you need to talk to. So that's kind of my role.
Tim.
That was hilarious. You guys didn't laugh. I thought that was hilarious. So my name's Tim, pastor here. I would say, for an analogy, mine is more like the quarterback of the team to try to get everybody involved and to inspire and to rally the troops behind where we're trying to go. And that's working with you guys. That's working with the staff, working with the elder team. It's really trying to be the main cheerleader of what I believe God wants to do here in us and through us.
And my job as small group coordinator is to get everybody in the stands, cheering on what God is doing, connecting with each other, cheering for each other, growing together, learning together, but being the cheerleaders for the vision. And that happens in the huddles, that happen in the homes and in the church building, and opportunities for us to grow in love with Jesus and grow in love with each other. I am blessed. You are blessed because we have these people on the staff. Let's just tell them thank you. David, I thought you were the water boy, and that's why I didn't mention.
Here's your water.
Thank you very much. Sorry.
I am a little bit of everything, I think. So I am the water boy, the cheerleader, and a bunch of other things. I'm the band in the stands that everybody wonders why I have a funny hat on. All those things. But My job is to really help express what it is we're doing as a church through our songs, through our videos, through storytelling, through our social media, through our website, through our communication, and to get you guys plugged into the life of the church as much as possible. To people like Steve, people like Aaron, tell you guys about the life that we have here. And so my hope is that as we continue to work together, that you guys throw me great questions like you have tonight, that you guys get plugged in and serve like you do. I've had 2 people this past month ask, just pumps me up. Like I've been waiting for a time where people are back and ready and raring. And so I feel like I'm more of a cheerleader because I get to hoot and holler and cheer you guys on and stuff and show what you guys are really doing. So, yeah, that's me.
Thank you, David. And sitting in the audience is Todd. And Todd is a person that gets the field ready for the game. So, Todd, stand up so everybody knows him. Setting up tables and chairs and doing what needs to be done. And so we appreciate Todd's contribution as well. We're in the process of hiring a new staff person, and Tim will bring us up to date about that.
Awesome. Thank you again, guys, for coming. Just love that you're here. So we have, as you heard, there's overarching kind of holes that we're focusing on, really trying to reach that next generation, connecting all of us together through our small group ministry. And part of reaching that next generation is the kids director position that we have vacant right now. And so one of the questions was kind of asked this morning through the text was, what are we looking for in that position? We're looking for somebody that is innovative, creative, and collaborative, somebody that can really kind of think out kids and at the same time collaborate with the team. And so those are kind of like the markers, and of course, lover of Jesus and people. And with that in mind, we've started the process of putting it out there on like job posting sites and starting to get people applying. Thus far, there hasn't been any applicants that would fit where we're trying to go as a church. We're going to start expanding into colleges now. Because of COVID and the time of year, it's a little bit more tricky, but we're going to continue posting for that position. But somebody to really not just recruit kids to ministry, but recruit volunteers, get people excited about the kids ministry side of things. So that's the one area that we're looking to fill, and I'd ask you guys to keep on praying that God would provide that right person, because we know that kids are that church. They're the next generation, and getting the right person in place for that is what we're aiming to do.
Thank you, Tim. One of the things that we want to do is break down the budget and give you an overview of the budget and how the money is spent.
First off, you guys rocked it this year. I mean, financially, you guys stepped up. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for being faithful. Yeah, that's awkward to clap for yourselves, I understand. But you guys did awesome. Thank you so much. I have siblings that are in ministry, brother-in-law, brother, friends, and there's a stat about 20% of churches right now are on the verge of closing down. And so you guys being faithful and supporting is huge to continue on reaching this area for Jesus. So thank you for being faithful. So let's put that first slide on there. This is how the budget went down this past year. So in 2020, you guys gave $618,000. And how that was broken up, we just did it by percentages. So the biggest is the staffing side of the budget. And that was about 54% went into salaries, workman's comp, health insurance, retirement is 54%. And then our standard 15% went towards missions, but it's 16 because people write above and beyond that 15%. And so it went towards missions. And then 30% has gone into ministries and operations. So that is doing stuff in the office, that is having programs to run the church, that is providing for the student ministry to go on events. It's all those things is how our ministries and operations work. So that was the breakdown. And this past year, because when COVID hit, what we did was we went on a strict spending freeze. Like we just halted everything for several months. And we were able this past year, you guys give 618%, and Aaron, you can nod me or name me, but I believe that we spent around the 90% of that. So we underspent by 10%, just trying to be very good stewards of the finances that came in. So trying to be really wise with that. So we actually have reserves in those areas. I'll show that to you in a second. But that's the breakdown of how 2020 went financially. That's where the resources went. Still staying with that 16% towards our missions or going outside of our walls, staffing, ministry operation. So for 2021, what we're praying for is this. Because we were able to underspend this past year, and Aaron has done an awesome job just cleaning things up. So we were able to save, high percentage, switching our health insurance around, doing different things like that to save financially. And so for 2021, you see the biggest area, the staffing area actually goes down 4%. Who doesn't like to save a little bit of money? So that area is actually going down because we're able to restructure some things. But along with that, we're also praying for God to increase the budget this next year to $699,000. The reason that is because we want to do more in our ministries. The elders had a retreat about 3 months ago, and we really said, okay, we want to invest into our kids ministry, our student ministry, our small groups, everything that we're talking about. Let's financially resource that. So as you see, we're hopefully lowering in the staffing column, but we're going to increase in the ministries and operation. Now, the percentages can skew a little bit, but that's the main shift that you'll see staying with the mission side of things. Now, how we want to handle this financially moving forward is how we've kind of done it this past year, is when it comes to major expenses, something that would cost a lot more money, we kind of evaluate where we're at financially as a church. So just because we are projecting, we want to ask God for a higher amount this next year, our spending is going to be in alignment with where we are as a church. So it's asking in faith, but at the same time being practical, little Dave Ramsey going on with this. So that's the big difference from 2020 to 2021, asking God for more resources, but also trying to put a little bit more money into our ministries and actually funding our ministries more this next year. So that's a skinny on the whole budget thing. And again, as I say that, if you have any more questions about that, you're like, but what about this? The text thing isn't up there, is it? That happened to me all day today. No, you're good. What's the number? Do you remember the number?
What are you talking about? It's up there.
Oh, by the way, really quick, you know who's a rock star at our church? Andrew Nebraska. The guy's a stud. He's been here, I think, longer than all of us, and he's volunteering. So, Andrew, thank you for making us look good up here by putting that awesome text up there. So if you guys have questions about, hey, what about this financially? What about this? What does this look like? You can text that now, and then David will be receiving it, so we can answer that as it goes. But that's a quick snapshot of how we're going to do our budgeting this upcoming year. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So when it comes to reserves, though, where is our financial reserves at? We were able to continue to keep our reserves on the right-hand side of $55,000. So this is our emergency fund, rainy day fund, $55,000 into those reserves. It's about a month's expense. So we have that kind of on the back burner. Never had to tap into that, praise the Lord, this past year. God's been so good and faithful, and so have you. And then we have building repair fund, which is at $72,000. So that's if a AC unit goes out. That's if water from the roof line starts coming in. We have that reserve in there also. So we have two pretty strong reserves moving forward. So that's a quick snapshot of where we were in 2020, where we're going in 2021, and this is kind of the background reserves, which, thank the Lord, we never had to tap into this past year. So praise God for that. So if you have any questions on the budget, just overview, please text that in, and we can answer that throughout.
All right. Thank you very, very much, and thank you for being faithful in your giving. We have some questions that have been texted in, and I'm going to read them. This question goes to Tony. Our kids wear masks at school daily. We have worship services with no mask mandate. Why do we need to take temperatures and wear masks for Sunday night youth group?
Yeah, so it's a good question. I think there's a couple ways that I can explain this, but to kind of keep it concise. Our goal is not to put laws and requirements to be a part of a ministry here. Our goal is to kind of create an atmosphere where people, where students come in, they feel safe, that they have an understanding of kind of what's expected of them to a degree, but that there's no expectation that says either do this or not be here. So we've, wading that water has been pretty difficult. Obviously, we have people with very strong opinions either way. And so what we've done, we've tried to use the same language as a church in all of our ministries, that it's not always a requirement to wear those, but we highly recommend that, and trying to keep in line with what our governors asked us to do. And so we've just tried to create that process at the beginning when we check kids in, to where students feel safe, but we're also not restrictive. Hopefully that's a good answer to that question.
Okay, thank you. Aaron, does Celebration Recovery have a plan to reach out to the homeless shelters to connect with hurting individuals? And the reason I'm giving this to Aaron is because she worked at Hope Ministries several years, and she will explain what they do at Hope.
Right, so just speaking from my experience with what I know about both sides of that question, Celebrate Recovery is an awesome opportunity and a program. I know a lot of the homeless shelters, as part of their long-term recovery plans, include, and some even require, to graduate from those recovery programs, that you participate in a Celebrate Recovery program at some point during that process. Because of that, Celebrate Recovery is not something that is necessarily a go out and seek people to come, but it is a program that is offered to support those other organizations and agencies and people who are looking for somewhere to talk. And so initially, my understanding is we did reach out and let organizations such as Hope Ministries and some of the other, probably Central Iowa Shelter and some of those other places that do work with the homeless community, and let them know that we are now starting a program so that they were aware. But we are also on the Celebrate Recovery main website page, so anybody who is looking for that type of a program or support can search there. And I happen to know, for example, speaking from experience with Hope Ministries specifically, that part of that recovery process includes seeking out a location that works into their schedule. And so that's part of getting them back on their feet, is encouraging them to be working to provide their own and coordinate their own transportation, something that works into their class schedule, their work schedule, their family schedule, and that's just part of that recovery process. So it's posted out on the website. The case managers work with those clients to find locations that work for their recovery process.
And that is a part of their requirements to graduate.
Speaking for Hope Ministries, yes.
Yes. So, great question, but the reason we don't reach out is because of what Aaron just shared with the homeless shelters. David, are we doing anything to tap into other people within our church with musical talents to share during worship time?
That's a great question. So we, as a church, made some vision changes last year to provide some consistency in the team and some other things. But this past year, as you could tell, has been a little strange. So one of the things that I'll say to that question is, currently, no. Right now, one of the biggest things we've focused on has been technology, mainly because we have half of our church not here. And the biggest...
Tell them how many people watched this morning online.
So just alone, between the two Facebook and YouTube, we had 90 households. So you can bet that there are people that don't go to our church who've started attending New Life. In fact, I'll tell you, a couple weeks ago, we had 11 people from China. So we don't know who we're affecting, what's going on. The answer is yes, we would love to look into adding new people to the team. We would love to look into, but we will require some more intense commitments than we did in the years past, because we do want to create a consistency and an excellence and a tightness. We want it to become something where the worship team loves and cares for one another, almost like a small group does. And so that's one of the things that we really want to try to foster in us. And we talked on Thursday, and members of the worship team that were here, including Dan, we were fired up when we left. I'm telling you, we're pumped for this year. We cannot wait to worship with you guys. So the answer is yes, we will be looking. The other issue is with COVID, we've missed out on a lot of opportunity for people to come forward because we don't know who's available. I still was only here for 9 months when COVID hit, so I don't know a lot of people. And so I'm kind of just waiting for people to come up to me on a Sunday or email me and be like, hey, I know how to play an instrument. Great plug. If you play piano, stop waiting around. Come see me. I'd love to talk to you. So anyway, yes, the answer is yes. We would love to continue to do special music and stuff.
So, if you have a talent and you're not using it, please make it available. All right, here's a question that just came in. Tony, what is the difference between the student director position and the position we are looking to fulfill?
I think the biggest difference is just the kind of the oversight. So I'm guessing the position that we're hiring for, their oversight's going to be directly with birth through 5th grade. That's where their emphasis is going to be, with volunteers on Sunday mornings, with parents, with kids themselves, obviously. And my role kind of falls in that middle school, high school range.
Okay. Here is a question for Tim. The percentage doesn't add up to 100% for 2021. Why is missions being reduced?
Yeah. Stop paying attention, guys. Okay. No. So the missions isn't being reduced. Great question. So the 15% is a standard that will always come from New Life. That comes from New Life. Why was 16% last year is because people give above and beyond that throughout the year. That's what makes it go up that little bit. So again, it's not reducing it. It's the standard 15%. People give above and beyond to that. And then the numbers not matching is due to, and Joey, I don't know if you could even speak, but maybe not, but probably you can. But it's when we try to figure out the staffing side, a lot of variables play into that, especially if you understand just the age of somebody, how much health insurance will cost them, what this will look like, how much they'll get paid. That affects how much is in that staffing side. Aaron let me know that we could be 5% even lower than we were last year, but it all depends on what that hire looks like. So that's why the numbers aren't exactly perfect, because that will fluctuate a little bit.
All right, but where's my question? Sorry. All right, here's a question similar. Where does the hidden 3% go next year? 50 plus 15 plus 32 is only 97%. And I'm going to tell you, the analytical people in this room are going to be asking these questions. So
where does that hidden 3% go? It goes to Tim Abramson.
Okay. That's all we needed to know. So we've clarified that.
No. Again, that will be decided where that goes as we move forward. We left that variable in there, guys, because it will fluctuate based off of the hire. Now, that's all based off of if this church gives $699,000, what you guys are going to do, Yeah, amen to that. But I'm saying that's that fluctuating. That staffing side does fluctuate those numbers significantly into those 3%.
All right. Good questions. And this is why we're doing what we're doing, so you have answers. Here's a question. Tim, this will be yours. Live the mission in order to do that we may have to support organizations or people work for as a church, not judging whether it fits our mission rules or set in place a long time ago. New Life says from the stage, let people know New Life Church is in the community. So I'm assuming what this saying is, to live the mission, we're going to do some things that support organizations people work for.
Okay. Yeah. So I'd probably say the best way to answer this is how are we going to do that, live the mission side of things? I think that's what kind of comes down to what does that look like with organizations and which ones do we connect with? So the big thing will be going through our small groups. We feel like you're going to have a lot more impact if your small group is going out into an area that you might have a neighbor or you might have a school that your small group adopts. But when it comes to mission organizations that we partner with, when it comes to that we're going to get behind and support, that goes through our missions team. Anybody in missions team here? Put your hands up in the air like you just don't care. Okay, awesome group, awesome, wonderful group. So that will go through our missions team when it actually comes to that partnership side of things. So Steve will be in contact with that team. So if there's this opportunity that we have to live that mission out, Steve will talk with the missions team and see if it aligns with us theologically, if it aligns with our values and our vision. And if the answer is yes, then we move forward with that, partnering together. But it has to go through our missions team for us to partner with it.
We have 100+ people here tonight. There's 100 different missions we could support. Every one of us have things that we like or are close to our hearts. We can't be fair and do everything for everybody. So please understand, if you have something that you want to suggest to the mission team, you do that. But there is a criteria so that we're wise with our money. It does not minimize what you're doing in the community or minimize your cause. It doesn't minimize it. We can't do everything for everybody. Good question. Here's another question. Are plans for building expansion on hold for now? Yes. And the reason they are is because we are in the process of hiring additional staff people. What we were talking about last year as far as expansion has changed because of input from Tony and needs for the youth. And so we have put a pause on it, and we will bring it up again in September and do it then. We'll have better knowledge, we'll have staff in place that will give input, and we'll be able to have more time to prepare for that. We've paused it, we've stopped it, we've paused it, we've stopped it, but there's been a reason why we've done that every time. I get as frustrated with that as probably some of you get because I would like to see it happen. We're trying to be sensitive to God, listen to His leading, do it on His timetable, and so there was a pause. At this point, it makes sense to the elders to do that, so we have paused it. Be ready this fall for it to happen. Good question. Question, Joey. Why do we have active elders that are not present in church or activities?
Can I circle back with you on that?
You can circle back to me anytime you want. In fact, that's one I would circle back on.
No, I guess in all honesty, and that was a tongue-in-cheek comment, probably. Hopefully didn't offend anybody when I said that. It was meant to be funny. I would say that when you, with COVID, I don't call it fear. I call it as you have to be at peace. And you have to be at peace to go out into public with or without a mask. You have to be at peace coming to church with or without a mask. And I am not sure that we're all, maybe even in this room, some of us are not at peace with that. You all are because you're here tonight, which is awesome. But there's some that are not at peace yet. And so I'm not going to judge whether they're at peace or ready to come out yet. So I would hope that we don't cast judgment against those elders that are not always here present with us. I'll tell you one thing, though. When we get on Zoom meetings, which is
monthly,
comical is what the word I was going to think, but monthly too. But to see everybody on their little screens and still be able to communicate and still be able to see and connect with them, every one of those elders still love this church. Yep. And they still pray for it daily. And I'll tell you what, that there's not a bunch of every one of those men that would stand up and pray right now, or probably even praying at home about this meeting right here tonight.
Can I say something really quick? These men are truly amazing. I really, I'm not just saying that I've come from different church settings. These are the best elders I've ever been a part of. They love people. They love Jesus. And they each bring something different to the table. And I think sometimes we have a visual of what it should look like or how they should act. And I'm telling you, each elder brings a different aspect to this table. Like Dick Brady, who is at home right now, and we're thinking and praying for him right now. But he's been working with David and calling him, encouraging him, just being a stud for David. And so there's so many different attributes to an elder, and they have blown me away year in and year out. And I love these guys with all my heart. So,
and I want to piggyback. Dick Brady is fighting cancer right now. There is no way he is going to be in a service, nor should he be. And so we've got some people that have had some real health challenges for reasons keeps them away. But as Joey said, we're on monthly meetings. They're all there. They're giving input and guidance. And I understand you don't always see all the elders, but that's the reason why. But pray for Dick.
I just talked to him before this. He's in good spirits. He enjoyed worshiping and hanging out with us this morning, and he's scheduled to get his first COVID shot. So he said he's thinking that he might even be able to come back like a week after his second shot. So you may see him soon. So we just need to give people some time.
Yep. Good question. Very good question. Here's a question. I have found a ministry out of Dallas, Texas, that I'm interested to know if New Life would consider getting involved. It's the Bucket Ministry, water purification filters spreading the gospel. I think we answered that with Tim, but you want to make any additional comments? I mean, it's
No, just really quickly. Again, we have a system for that. Well, that's the missions team. That's their call. That's not my call. That's the missions team call. So that's something, if that was you today, I'd just pass that along to Dan and Sharon Wilson, and they can bring it to the team and talk about that. But great thought, great question.
good question. Here's a long question. And Joey and Kelly, I want you to answer this one. I'll start with a comment. I love the direction, the presentation given today. I found it to be motivating and a focus for my prayers. Could we add to it? For several months, my heart has been very heavy, missing my church family, whether due to COVID, social distancing, or they have left New Life Church. 2020 has made it difficult to tell who. All right, hang on a minute. 2020 is difficult to tell who the church family is, whether they're social distancing or they have left. So I started reaching out to people I haven't seen or asking mutual friends if they knew where someone has been. I am sad to say that many left. These are brothers and sisters who worked alongside of us in the beginning of New Life Church, hauling nursery equipment, Sunday school papers, and sound equipment to and from whatever venue we were able to book that Sunday. Not only have they left, but gone with hurt feelings and bitterness. A couple I've talked to have moved on to other churches, but others are not going anywhere. I am aware this is common, but, all right, start over. I am aware this is common when there are changes in pastoral staff, but do we have to be common? So the question is, what has been done to reach out to mend the relationships with church partners so that they still know there's a place for them here? I hope that made sense. It's long and the type is small and sorry. All right, Kelly.
Yep, I'll start, and I think Joey's going to jump on after I get done. But just first to go through the whole COVID scenario. We are in unprecedented times as far as my lifetime goes, And I just want to say it's not just church. I mean, I have not seen my coworkers since March 9th of 2020. There's extended members of my family I have not seen since last Christmas. So, and as a church, as an eldership, I can tell you that during the summer, we went from meeting monthly to twice a month just to try to figure out some of this stuff, not only the COVID, but the personnel things that were happening. And so I think we're trying to find that, what we need to do. If you remember back in the spring, we did go deliver flowers to everybody just to try to keep in touch with people. The bracelets later in the fall. And I can tell you from my personal experience with the elder, anybody that contacted me with concerns or questions, myself and Steve met with them and talked to them. Now, I know there's been other people, there was multiple people that had questions and concerns, and I can't tell you that they were all reached out to, but I can tell you that a lot of them were. And also, and I don't want this to sound like an excuse, but we also rely on you as a church body to let us know if people are hurting. We don't know if they're not attending because of COVID. We don't know if they're not attending because they were upset with something that happened. So if you know of somebody that has a concern or is needing reached out to, please let somebody know, because we are more than willing to reach out and talk to people.
Yeah, and it's a great question. So many questions that we all have. I would say that I, too, am sad to see brothers and sisters leave this church body. The ones that I do know about, that I have reached out to, I challenge them with finding another church. If New Life, I love my brother Tim. Not everybody loves Tim. I don't know why. And I'm just going to use you as the example because you're sitting to my left, and I didn't want to pick on Aaron. But some people may not like the way Tim preaches. Some people may not like the way that we don't support every ministry that comes in the door. But I challenge them to make sure that they go and get connected to another church. Because out there in the wilderness, wandering with COVID and with just the craziness of this world right now is not good for anybody. So if there's somebody that you know that has, I would encourage them to come back. I would ask them to come back. If they don't, then I ask them to get plugged in someplace else. I also realize that there's going to be deaths. There's also going to be celebrations here at New Life. And I encourage them to come back and celebrate with us during those times because we're still family. If we all can't get along here on earth, how are we going to get along in heaven, right? So we all still can love each other even though we don't attend the same building.
But I'm sorry, you shared something earlier about small groups that I think is spot on. You need to share.
Yeah, the other thing that was coming to my mind was that, you know, our big four, right? Do you know what our big four is? You do. Okay, that's good. Our big four is to know Jesus, find community, discover purpose, and live the mission, right? And if you find your community or your small group or whatever that looks like for you, then you are going to be planted. And if you think of a plant, it's like you're stuck in the dirt, right? That plant does not move. You're like a tree, right? And when you're a tree, you grow those big roots down into the ground. And so when COVID or something like COVID, the next COVID comes along, you'll still go with the wind, but if you're planted in that small group, you'll still be here at New Life Church. So I would challenge everyone that is not in a small group, that you need to get there, and you need to get there quick, and make sure that's a long-lasting one.
I really appreciate that because the bottom line is, Tim can't be everywhere. Tony can't be everywhere. Our small groups can minister to each other and pastor each other and support each other and love each other and help each other. And that is such an important part of the church right now. And small groups are going to meet the needs at times of a pastor, even of an elder. And so when we were talking earlier, Joey, I really appreciated you saying that, because I think that is an important factor right now in that question. Just a minute.
If I can jump in here.
If Aaron will, or Andrew will give you a mic.
Hello, Andrew. Also say, on the flip side of that, I see new people coming into New Life Church every day. There's a couple in here right now that has been here for 3 weeks that I've seen. And I am so encouraged by those new people that are coming here to New Life Church. And I hope you all don't focus on the bad, but focus on that there's new people that are coming in here. And you all need to invite them into a small group and make sure that they get connected and that they stay at church as well.
Good point. Tony.
I think one thing that I know I just want to make sure comes through for our staff and for our eldership team. I know that this is our heart too, that if there's been anything as a staff that we have contributed to making you feel isolated or disconnected or neglected here, we want to ask for your forgiveness in that. We're on staff, but we're not any more righteous because we're on staff. We're pursuing Jesus along with you. And during this last year, even just in the last few months that I've been here, I've seen the heart of our leaders and our staff people. And I know I think I'm saying the right thing here. So whether you're watching online or you're here and you felt that, just know that that's not what we want. And we are going to continue to pursue whatever avenue we can to make sure that people are connected. So just hear that, we're not wearing a cape up here. We don't think that we did everything right either, but we are doing our best to make sure that everybody is connected. Everybody has that community and that nucleus here to where, God forbid, another COVID situation happens, that we are firmly planted together.
And I want to just say, Tim, Tony, and David are three of the most approachable people I know in my life. And you could go to them with anything, anytime, and I will tell you the other elders are the same. You guys can talk to us without being judged or whatever, but I'm going to tell you something. You come and talk to us, the first question we're going to ask you, have you talked to the person? And if the answer is no, we're not going to talk to you until you've gone to the person. If it's us, you can talk to us. But the bottom line is, we are just not going to tolerate the gossip, the misunderstandings, the miscommunications that happen when we don't practice Matthew 18. So we're going to hold ourselves accountable to that, but we're going to hold you accountable to that. So a good question. I hope we've answered it. There's a couple, 3 more questions that have just come in that we need to answer. All right. How about worship chairs starting to show a lot of wear and tear? Is there plans to restore them or replace? Even notice kids standing on these, and next Sunday someone could sit there. The answer is yes. We're going to burn them, and you on every Sunday are going to bring your own chairs. And so, Aaron, maybe you could answer that a little better than I answered, but we have a fund for replacement of things as needed.
Yeah, so as we've already kind of talked about, last year kind of put a lot of our thoughts, wishes, dreams on hold financially for us. We are entering our 20th year as a church, but our 15th 14th year here in this building. So things are starting to show their age, and we have taken note of that. We have an awesome facility manager that I get the privilege of working with every single day, and we are constantly going around and taking note of what are the things that we need to be putting on our to-do list. What are the things that we need to be reaching out to some of our church people who have skills and trades that have been so generous to donate their time and to be working through those things. I think here in this next year, you're going to start to see some of those things actually come to fruition, and I'm counting on that because of the fact that I know we serve a big God who is going to bless us with the revenue and the resources to be able to start to do some of those upkeep and upgrades. I just sat down with Todd on Friday and started making our list of here's kind of our big things for this year that we need to really start working through. So if you have skill trade, though, quick plug, if you have a skill trade that you are willing to share on behalf of the church, we would love to hear from you. I know Todd does a lot on his own. He's awesome, but he can use some help too. So we would love to hear from you and how you can do that specifically to the chairs. I know we have Jim Simpkins and Barb who come in regularly when they have time and when we have stacks that have kind of built up of chairs that needs repair, and they have so generously given time and to do that specifically. So yes, it's noted, it's coming, and we just appreciate all of you guys for sharing your gifts.
Pursue addition, there will be remodels and revamping and refreshing. So that's all going to be a part of that process as well. And I'm glad you mentioned Jim and Barb, because they come in here and repair the chairs, which I really appreciate. And what is awesome about it is they only charge $1,000 a chair. It's very reasonable, and these chairs have been here for a while. And you guys, there are so many of you that volunteer your time. David needed West Bowlby to come do some wiring up here. I mean, we could just go around. Russ Dodd, and who had to shovel the sidewalks this morning to get into the building? Well, somebody did, but it wasn't me. And we have been blessed over and over and over with so many people who do so much. The hospitality ladies. Wouldn't it be cool if we all had to bring our own cookies? We're blessed. Say you're right. We are. And so we're grateful for that. And as the building gets older, we're going to have to do some work, which I appreciate. Here's a very important question for Pastor Tim. Why does Tim hate the Packers? Tony will answer that, please. Hey, water boy, answer that. Tony. Short answer.
Short answer. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. All right. Question, has New Life ever taken a group to Israel? Is there any thoughts on taking a trip in the future, of course, when that's possible again? Tim.
We haven't, not that to my knowledge, and that's something that is not in our thought process right now. Could be in the future, but as of right now, that's not what is in our thought process.
Yep. All right, good questions, you guys. A few years ago, there was a children's Easter program. Is there any discussion to do that again or start a children's choir, ages 4-5 and up? The answer to that will be the children's pastor that's coming will decide and give us guidance in that direction. At this point, it's probably on hold. When we started coming to New Life, younger kids came into the service to sing and be prayed over, then would go to Sunday school. Is there discussion with getting the younger kids in service again and more involved so that they can observe how to pray, sing, and act in church service? I will answer that, and then Tim, if you want to respond, you may. The bottom line is the change was so that these kids had a small group that they could connect with, Coming here for 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then only having 20, 25 minutes by themselves just seemed to rob them. And so the whole reason the change was made is to give them a better scope, developing a better relationship, a relationship that will live and last, which can happen better in an hour than 20, 30 minutes. It wasn't that we didn't want them in here, and I'm going to be bold, and I'm going to be a grandpa right now. They need to see how to sing, how to pray, and how to worship at home. That's my responsibility as a parent. I, as a church member, though, if I'm serving in those areas, need to support what you're doing at home. And so we're probably not going to make that change because I think there was a very good why to make the change.
I think you nailed it really well, Steve. And just with that, you know, part of the thing that we loved about the curriculum of Orange was the vision that every child has a caring leader and a consistent group of peers. That will continue. We love that idea that if each child has a caring leader and a consistent group of peers, real life change can happen. So even when in hiring the children's director, that's what we're telling them. And so the best way that that comes about, we still, as elders, that was what we decided a year and a half ago, is, hey, we really want to see this take place. Now, how is that all manifested and shown? We won't know until we get that children's director here. We want to let them have some freedom on what does that look like, how is that expressed, the freedom in that area. But for now, we're not switching back to how we used to do the children's in-service.
Good questions. We have 3 more, but we're going to honor the youth group's time because they're making concessions for us. Are you putting away money for future building expansion monthly, as we discussed when we paid off the original debt? And the answer is no. If you give something designated for the building fund, it goes into that. And Joey, remind me of what is in the building fund?
I think there's less Tim's commission. There's $72,000.
Okay, $72,000. So there are people that are doing that, but on a monthly basis, no. All right, here's the next question. Is there a college-age young adult ministry currently or planned? Tim?
Now, no. One day, maybe, yeah, I mean, that's what we need to go to. But right now, we want to focus and be intentional on our kids, 0 through 5th grade and 6th through 12th grade. So not right now.
Good question, and definitely a need. This question. Thankful for David's contribution to this year's critical technology need. Question, how is David's time divided between music and communication? Good question.
It's a great question. Depends on what week. I'll give you probably 70-30 is typically the way that it goes. I spend a lot of time planning services with Tim. Spend a lot of time focusing on choosing music and scheduling volunteers and doing that kind of stuff. And then communications kind of comes after that. So one of the things that has changed with COVID is that ratio week to week. Whereas before COVID, I could count that amount of hours pretty distinctly. Now having to manage basically 2 church bodies and make sure that they both get fed really well. There's weeks where this past week, I didn't do any music because I didn't lead this week. But I guarantee you, I spent over 40 hours in this building, and all of it was on video. And so pretty much every time you see a week where there's 3 or 4 videos during a service, you can bet I probably didn't do music. But in terms of breakdown week to week, if you ever have a question about that, you can always come see me. I'd love to describe it more.
All right, it depends on the week, depends on the needs. This last week, you produced 3 different videos. Mm-hmm. How many hours did you spend producing those? And I'm going to tell you something. They're good. They're good. So, but how many hours did that take?
All 40 hours plus. I mean, I think I spent extra hours. I was out with Andy and Molly Beals, who gave me 2 of their hours away from their kids on the weekend, and it was awesome. But all of that is so that people can connect to the vision of what we're doing this year. Like, that's the key.
So that is a challenge. All right, we are out of time. I hope that this has been helpful. Aaron is going to give us instructions to eat. The young people are going to come in and join us at tables. Tony is putting something on the table. And so thank you for your questions and for the opportunity that we have to just share together and spend our time.
Would you guys stand with me, and we're going to pray over the meal, and then I will give a few quick directions so that we are not having a mass exodus out to the kitchen crew. Okay? All right. Father God, I just thank you so much for the opportunity that we have to gather together as your people. I thank you for those who are watching from home who aren't able to be with us in person, Lord. They're still part of our family and still part of your church, God, and we're just thankful for them as well. I thank you for the questions that came in tonight. There's a lot of good things for us to continue to pray over, for things for us to continue to discuss and to ponder. Father God, I pray for this meal that we're about to have, Lord, and the fellowship that we are going to be blessed to have as well. Pray for the students who will be coming in to join us. Lord, I just pray that we would be able to bridge generations in our conversations, that we would be a people who are seeking to connect with each other because of you and because what you have done in us and through us. And so I just thank you for this time, and I bless this food in your name. Amen. Okay, so we're going to dismiss just a couple tables at a time just to help keep our traffic flow moving a little bit. So if you are sticking around for the meal, we do have some sandwiches and chips and cookies and that type of thing. We're going to ask that you go out the door. You're going to start directly at the window, move your way down through the window, and then come your way back in so that we can kind of keep traffic flow moving and not be tripping over each other. Students are going to come in and mingle with us. So if you have a spot at your table, can you raise your hand so that they know where there's an open place that they can jump in? Students, look for somebody who's got their hand up. They've got room at their table for you. And they're still coming. Look at that. Praise the Lord. All right. There's also some conversation cards that Tony just put on your table. So if you need an icebreaker, those are for you guys to have some conversation. And we are going to start on this side of the room and take these, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Beth, Lonnie, the table in the back there. Aiden, your table, go get food. You guys can go to the window and get food if you would like. And we just appreciate your patience as we just do a few tables at a time. But use those conversation pieces to talk to the students.
Okay, I want to thank the online people for being here. There's been 30 households that have been watching, so thank you. We have missed you being here in person, but we understand why you're not here, and hopefully it's been helpful and enjoyable for you. Have a great week, New